welcome. I'm Daniel G. Garza, and this is Put It Together Conversations. Welcome to another episode. I hope you've enjoyed all the other episodes. If you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you follow us on the Put It Together Conversations page. Like that page, and then you can scroll down and check out some of the videos and some of the information about my guests. Make sure you share with your friends on your page. If you're watching us on YouTube, welcome to the page. Make sure, if you can, will you scroll down, subscribe, hit the like, and maybe leave a comment. And make sure that you hit the little bell so that you are notified every time we have a new episode up on the air. If you are on Twitter, welcome. And if you still want to be part of the conversation, you can just leave a comment. And I'm going to be watching on my phone right here. And if anybody is part of the Twitter conversation, I will make sure that my guests hear your comments. Today, I'm excited. I always enjoy when I have... for those of you that have been on the show, and for those of you that have been following the show for a while, know that I really love going through social media. I stalk a lot of people. Yes, I stalk you. And if I see something that I like, I will make sure to reach out to people. And actually, a lot of my guests come from social media, either Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. I just kind of follow what they do. And then sometimes I'm going to confess that my guest today, I was kind of like, where did we meet? And then I remembered, oh, yes, we met on Instagram, and that's where I found him. But let me read you his bio so that you know who I'm talking about today. Jason Trotman-Williams. He was born in 1994 in Trinidad and Tobago, completed studies in visual arts at the University of the West Indies, where he received a BA in visual arts in 2016 with a focus on design. He has continued studies in both floral and jewelry design. His preferred mediums are oil paints and crochet. In 2021, he continues research into empowerment through art. His artwork depicts reflective imagery on themes. I can't even speak English today. His artwork depicts reflective imagery on themes of self-searching, depression, existence, and purpose in the universe. It mirrors the inner battles he has with existing, self-acceptance, place, and this world, and aspirations for the future. His crochet pieces serve as pushpins for the creation of heavens, places where people are free to be and comfortable at home. I don't know what's wrong with my English right now. It's because we did a Spanish show earlier. My head is in Spanish right now. In 2018, he founded Handmade Designs, whose focus is on home furnishings. The company was born out of pain. It revolves around questioning the journey between birth and death, which is unknown, unpredictable, sometimes painful, and unwanted. My hope, he says, with this company is to help people create the much-needed place of solace and peace, a place where the authentic self is comfortable, happy, and hopeful. Everyone is on a journey through life, dealing with personal battles. There should be a pushpin of happiness and peace somewhere in all of that. And I think because he talks about journeys, and he's a perfect fit for the show, so let me bring him on over. Jason, hi, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
How's it going? How are you doing?
I'm okay.
So I'm going to tell the folks watching that this is your first interview.
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to bring you into the Put It Together world. And thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And guiding you or into the world of interviews. And I can't even speak today, so go figure that one out. This is going to be a fun interview. But tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I'm a visual artist. I'm trained as a visual artist. Right now, with my company, I'm trying to build a platform where people can express themselves authentically and where they can find a space that is home to them.
You have fans on here already.
Yeah, that's my sister.
Awesome. I found something really interesting. So I'm gonna. So as I was telling the audience before we get into it. So yes, I first saw you on Instagram and I saw one of your pieces and I was really intrigued by what you did. And For the folks that saw the announcement that I put out, that's just the headshot of this bigger piece that he sent me. You have such a way of making the bigger piece. It seems like out of smaller pieces. Does that make sense? It's like there's like the way the drawing was.
Yeah.
It looks like there's all these smaller pieces that make the whole. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I guess just to get started with the part of it, like, so tell us how you put it together.
Okay. Well, I was a creative child. I think from growing up, I used to like take the twist eyes from off bread and make small animals. I use like scrap pieces of wire to make bangles and things. When it really actually struck to me that I can go into visual arts was in secondary school. There was this free period we had, and I was painting in the back of the class. And I put the painting up to dry. And the art teacher at the time, Mr. Mitchell, he saw the painting and he asked me, is there, Jason, are you okay? And I said yes. And he basically read that painting like if it was a story. He said basically everything that I was feeling at the moment. From there, I went on to do art at the university. It was more of a way to try to figure out what to do with the rest of my life. But I did it. During that whole period, there was a personal battle dealing with depression. I was diagnosed when I was 18 with persistent depressed disorder. And it was a struggle from then on till probably now, coping with that. And through art, I found ways to find peace and answer questions that I've been questioning myself, basically with existence and purpose and what is the meaning of all of this. When I started this company in 2017, I think that was the lowest point I could have reached in life. I was dealing with, besides the depression, I was dealing with issues of why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I good at? What was all this struggle in life really about? And it came to the point that I was on the brink of suicide. The day that I thought it would be the end of it all, I painted. And through that painting, I think I came to a point where I asked myself, what do I want? Where I want to go? And how do I start building myself to get to that point? From then, I have been focusing on home furnishings, mostly because I feel like my home situation growing up, and probably till a couple of years ago, wasn't one there. I found that it was a place where you can recharge. It was more filled with tension and unhealthy, kind of toxic environment. And the reason why I focus on home is because at the end of the day, we begin and end at home. Before a child goes into the world, you start at home, you teach her how to have manners, how to prepare for life. And the home is where I think at the end of the day, we recharge to get back to face the world. and building or helping build that space through art and crochet, and allowing people the opportunity to be authentic both in their expression and what they think their space should be is what I find important and what I've is the backbone of why I started this
Got
whole
you.
process.
Well, there's a lot of things that obviously were not in the bio, which is totally cool.
Yeah,
Because I I was diagnosed with depression several years ago, so we have that in common. And
yeah,
I have my normal anxiety. I'm more. Uh, I'm not as out there as most people think I am. I really push myself
yeah.
to do shows like that so that I can converse with people and not be so isolated. Do you think your art helps you to not get so isolated and be so much in your head?
It does. It does. I am not really an extroverted person. I hardly talk, and I found that through art, it became my voice, both in expression, expressing things um, that words could not have, and also helping people feel emotions and connect with people who may or may not be in similar situations that I have been. Yeah,
Yeah. And I think one of the beautiful things, like for instance, you that found your voice in your art is that well, art has so many voices. Like one, you
yeah,
have one way that you're expressing it,
yeah,
but the way that I see it could
yeah,
be
yeah,
something that relates to me and helps me come out of
yeah,
my shell. Does
yeah,
that make sense?
yeah. Based on your own personal experiences and perceptions of things. Yeah,
Um, the other thing you were talking about, existence, because you use the word pushpin in your bio.
yeah.
Um, can you explain that to us for a little bit?
For
No, no,
expression,
I'm
for
sorry.
the
I got together two different ideas. I
yeah,
was trying to go for the. You're talking about the push pin. Um, when you explained, I'm going back to your
yeah,
bio. Um, you talk about it being there should be a push pin of happiness and peace somewhere in all that. What do you mean by push pin? I think I have my own understanding, but
yeah.
I want to know what you mean by
There's
that.
it. Um, I'll try to find the best way to explain it. Basically, I have been questioning what is my purpose and why am I here and what is this whole journey and life about, and going through well childhood and dealing with the struggles of well, self-acceptance and family life and these kind of things. There wasn't really a place where I found that all this chaos that was going on in my mind and my head and all around me, there wasn't a place I could have gone where I said, okay, this is where I can de-stress, find peace, recharge, get myself back together. And the reason why I use the push pin in the sense of, especially when referring to the home, was that there's where I thought you can recharge, and that's where I thought um, the best place where you can be your authentic self. And it should be one place that have a long day at work, a stressful day, or I don't know. You can go back to this place and find yourself and be yourself and return to that inner peace.
Gotcha.
If that makes
Before we
sense.
continue, let me just remind everybody you're watching Put It Together Conversations. I'm your host, Daniel G. Garza. My guest today is artist Jason Trotman-Williams, and we're talking about finding your happy place and expressing yourself. Do you remember the first piece you created that you were like, I'm an artist, like this is me?
Uh, no, no, I don't. I don't because it always has been a little battle with myself. But I'm not. I'm a good enough artist. But I think the one that really resonated with me was, as I think I mentioned before, the one that I did in secondary school, that people could actually look at this, feel emotions, figure out exactly what I'm trying to say, and still find it relatable to their life and pleasant to look at.
I guess I'm intrigued now because of your journey, and I'm intrigued in the positive way. I wonder if some of your pieces, as I was looking through your Instagram, let me post. I'm going to post the Instagram for you folks who are watching, so you can check it out.
Yeah.
Um, I'm wondering, like, when you start creating, does it start with one voice or one message, and then by the time you're done with it, does it say something completely different?
Actually, no, no, no. I used normally think of my art, especially when I'm painting, as like I'm doing a maths equation. Like if you have maths, you have a paper and pen. I have paint and canvas, and it usually starts with one overpowering feeling that I have. You know, I don't know. Most recently, I've been exploring chaos, but chaos, sadness, anger, and basically, I'm working out mm, what I think about it, how I feel about it, what situations that have been going on in my life at that particular time that may be affecting that emotion. And at the end, it usually ends with me looking at it and coming up with a final thought as to how do I approach this emotion and how do I deal with it if it comes around again.
There's there's another thing we have in common because you spoke about suicide, and
Yeah.
I had suicidal tendencies when I was younger, teenager, and it had a lot to do with my own identity, figuring out who I was. Um, is it easy, or was there were you already painting and creating at that time, and was it easy to put that on a canvas or crochet that?
No, no, I don't think it was easy. At that time, I think there was so many overwhelming feelings and emotions that I was going through. And on top of that, dealing with depression and existence and identity, as you mentioned. And I felt that suicide was the answer to quiet both the noise that was in my head and to get away from the chaos that was going on. But I felt that at that time I didn't do much art. I left university angry because I felt like I made a wrong choice in studying art. But I didn't do art for probably a year and something. And getting back into the art, I found, I don't know, answers to questions. I found myself working through dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, and also finding a way to cope with situations at the time. So, yeah, art then became more of breathing to me, sustaining, keeping up, building strength in myself. Yeah.
Out of uh, when you're creating, uh, and I'm not a painter by all means. For everybody watching, I am not a painter. I have a big box of crayons on my table, and it's sat there forever. I don't usually do any drawings. I'm good at editing videos, and I'm good at talking to people, but I don't do video. I don't do drawing. But when I'm when I'm feeling emotions, I'll create a video, or I edit something, or I'll write something. Um, and I usually find some feelings are easier to express than others. Have you found that? Are there some emotions that are easier to create from than others?
No, I don't think so. Some are more I rather not deal with because
Okay.
at times I don't like to be emotional. But all feelings I think are equally difficult, especially in trying to understand them and come to terms with them. But I think it's more into the process of actually forcing myself to face the emotion and work through it.
That's pretty interesting. I guess I never, again, I am not an artist at your level, but um, that you would have, like, I guess the question would be, has there been a piece that you started and said, I need to walk away from this? I can't deal with what's bringing it up.
Yes, there was one. Up to this day, I don't think I finished it.
Oh, really?
It was one that at that time I was having a difficult time with my mother particularly, and I think our relationship hasn't been a good one even from childhood. And this particular one, it was dealing with the whole idea of what is the role of a mother, and whether it was nurturing or whether it was taking up responsibility of parenting. And at that time, there was a lot of anger, resentment, frustration. Most of them I've worked through, but some of them I'm still working on. But I don't think I've come to terms with the relationship that I have with my mother, and I'm not sure how that will work out in the future because I think there's there's one thing if you try to work on a relationship and it's one-sided when the other person doesn't think that there's anything wrong with it, and I feel there's a lot of work that needs to be done there, and I am not sure how to approach that actually.
And
So
I wanna clarify for everybody that's watching, because the picture that you sent me, I confused it with the picture that you have on your Instagram. Because for those of you watching, I have a bigger picture that he sent me, and I cropped it up just to get it so we could do the announcement. But on your Instagram, you're wearing a similar shirt, and that's why I confused it. But in your Instagram, there's a picture. I don't know if we want to talk about this one, but there's the one that you drew, and that's what was confusing. There's a gentleman carrying a boulder up a hill,
ah,
and
okay.
that was the first photo that caught my attention when I saw it, and I was like, there was like, whoa, like it. I saw me, I saw
Yeah.
me in that photo. I was like, for those of you who watch, I wish that we could put it up, but I'm going to put it up so you guys can see it on the Put It Together page. You guys can go check out the photo. But when I saw the gentleman carrying that boulder up the hill and the reds and the yellows in the back, I was like, that's me. Like he sees me because I was going through some personal turmoil. Do you know the piece that I'm talking about?
Yeah. I call that the absurd. That again is based on my own exploration of existence and stuff. But that particular piece was um there's a saying that like you're trying to progress in life and there's you're going 5 steps forward, then be kicked 10 steps backwards. And at that moment, that was basically the feeling that I was feeling. I dealing with post university life, entering the world of work, thinking that I probably did all that I should have done to be in a better place in life, and also dealing with family issues and challenges that I thought with time would have improved. And yeah, basically it was like trying to push a boulder only for it to roll back on you and having to repeat the process over and over.
I'm gonna see what you're. I'm gonna see if I can bring this up. Uh, no, it's not gonna let me do it. Let me see for everybody. I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you can't, then never mind. Uh, nope, it's not working. Okay, we're gonna forget about this. But I was trying to see if the computer would let me bring up that particular piece. I just think that you have such an eye in your paint, in your work. Um, I don't want to make it too personal about me, but it's going to sound really personal about me. You have such a way that, um, like, you're so universal in your expression, yet so personal. I don't know if that makes sense or not. And that's probably like so, but it's so universal that a lot of people can see your piece and go, "I've been there. I've been in that pain." And then, oh, I see what I did on the computer. Never mind. I see on the screen now that it's delayed. Oh, they did see it. They did see it for Louise. Okay, good. As I was mentioning, I mentioned to all my guests before, it's like I have my phone here so I can see what everybody else is seeing. And I did see where people got a glimpse at the picture. So you guys got to see it. But yeah, I really love what you do with that it's so personal that I felt so connected to you and the piece, like you knew, like you saw in my heart what was going on. But yet it's so universal that I'm sure so many other people can look at it and go, I dig it. Like I dig that. Like I know that moment in my life. Does that ever cross your mind as an artist when you're creating, or is it like an afterthought?
No, yes and no. Actually, it is me exploring my journey and my process, and I feel at the end of the day, there's any conversations that I've been having and people reaching out to me that everybody's going through basically at one point in time something similar, and being able to express that and people to identify with that and find some kind of motivation, probably inspiration, and realization that yes, I'm not alone in this, and yes, we can move past this.
And they were able to see it. Good. They were able to see it. You just have such a like I people are probably thinking, oh, it's because he's on your show, and no, I would not blow smoke on anybody's butt for this. But you just have such a beautiful way of combining colors, and like for instance, I didn't ask you this before we started the show. Are the pieces behind you, are those yours as well?
Yeah, yes, they are. Yeah.
Is there a? Can you explain the one that's right to your? I guess your
My
right.
left.
To your left. Yeah, to your
Yeah.
left.
That's actually a very heavy piece. I did that piece on the night that I actually thought would be the end of life for me. I call it peace because it was me basically finding a quiet place in all the chaos that was going on in my head. And actually, actually cried when I made that piece. But it is a constant reminder of my strength, my ability to find solutions to the challenges that I have been having. But it also was basically every frustration, depression, sadness, everything just on canvas. And yeah.
Can we talk about your jewelry collection? The pieces that you have in your I know if everybody's watching. I'm like, yes, I am. I'm scanning through his Instagram because he has such there's like if I saw these individually, you are such a diverse artist that like your paintings have this whimsical flow to them sometimes. Like
Yeah.
it's so like, huh, here's some color. Whew. But then together it means something. And then your crocheting has a, and I say this with all respect, it has a very loving, like traditional look to it. And then you go to your jewelry collection and it's like so sophisticated and like so intricate. Um, like I know it's all you that creates this, but is it different versions of you that creates this? Does that make sense? Does the question
Yeah,
make
it does,
sense?
it does, it does. Yes, it is. I think this goes back to the whole idea of the push pin of moments. Like Julie, for instance, I like to refer to them as feeling myself, Julie, because I think it should be representative of a occasion, a period of time that you felt most confident in yourself. But the crochet, it goes back to building homes. I focus more on pillows because pillows are the most intimate thing. You lie down with it, you hug up with it, and it should be something that is fun and happy to look at, happy to lie down next to, happy to squeeze up. So yeah, I think it's different versions of me representing different periods and points along the whole journey.
I feel like now, like knowing you now and seeing like the different versions of you, like I want to lay on one of those pillows wearing one of your pieces of jewelry while I watch one of your art pieces having a cup of
Yes.
coffee or something. Like it just works well because I'm looking at for those of you again. I'm going to post his Instagram so you guys can go check it out because it's really is it's there are. I mean, I've had the pleasure of interviewing and meeting a lot of artists, and some of them only work in one certain medium, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But to find somebody that has like I feel like I know you from three different angles. Like I know the like 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 I can like I don't know you, but yet I feel like I know you. I wonder if anybody else out there who knows his work can relate to that. If you can relate to that, if you know him and you can relate to the version that I'm speaking about,
Um,
see somebody else does. Yes, very talented individual. Thank you, Shyam.
thanks.
It's just so unique, and to find that some of your creations come from a place that most people don't know how to explain or don't know how to get out of is it's really something to applaud because putting together conversations the show is, and I didn't mention at the beginning of the show, but the show is about where you come from, where you are now, and what the journey's like, and the idea is to motivate and inspire other people. And I really do feel that hearing the beginning of your story and where you are now is truly something to be inspired. It 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 shows a lot of people like me and like you that you can't maybe you can't how can I say this? You probably will never outgrow. Somebody just said that about
Yeah,
growing. You probably will never outgrow the feelings and emotions, but you can make peace with them and still be creative. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
Yes, it does. It does. Yes, it does. It does. I think art as a way of, especially for me, finding healing, and it has been a very difficult couple of years. And realizing both that I needed help and that there should be something more than existence and pain and frustration and chaos in life, and being able to find that place in art to both explore those ideas as well as help other people understand that this is not a lonely road. There's people who going through similar situations that you are, and that there's always a better place to look forward to in the end, and trying to chart that course, figure out how you could get there if you really want to.
Yeah. I do um, speeches, and I speak to kids in high schools and here in Orange County, in California, and usually my presentations are on HIV and AIDS awareness and precautions and how to take care. But we also talk about mental health. And when I was coming out, when I was 17 and coming out and identifying who I was and all the anxiety and depression, and I think you're a great representation that because I was looking. Of course, I'm skimming through your Instagram, and I saw the 25, and I was like, "What does the 25 mean?" And then I realized you turned 25, and I'm like, "Dude, I just turned 50, so I just realized how old I am, twice your age."
No, actually, my birthday was last month. Well, actually, turned 27 last month.
27.
Yeah.
Still, you're a baby. You're in my world. You're a baby. So stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But it's really cool to. I think that regardless of the age that we are, we need it's our responsibility. I think I feel that way sometimes. Since I've overcome those stages in my life where I have the tools to know when I feel like
Yeah.
doom. I have tools to go to make me feel better, and I feel like you're one of those people that has the tools now. So somehow we need to show the younger generation that
Yeah.
not everybody's going to have the same tools, but find
Exactly.
yours. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 It makes perfect sense. I think a lot of persons who I've talked to don't know how to cope, and they don't think that they have someone that they can depend on or who they can relate non-judgment without judgment. And hopefully I just by being able to share, people can relate and understand and connect, which I find is very important. Because I actually, for most of my life, thought I was alone battling all of these things. And only when starting to voice some of the concerns that I've been having, some of the emotions that I've been dealing with, that I'll be able to meet people who had similar situations, similar experiences, and how they deal with it, and how they've got to the point that they are right now.
So let me ask you this too, because let's step away a little bit from that part. But
Okay.
culturally, um, your background, your environment, how much of that plays into your artwork?
Ah, it plays a lot, a lot. I think majority of what I do is based on my background, based on childhood, growing up, dealing with parents, especially my mother, dealing with my stepmother, dealing with growing up way too fast and finding myself in all of that chaos, dealing with things that were said to me, things that were done to me, and the home situation that I didn't actually feel was a place that I wanted to be in or that I was happy being. And I have seen how now some of my behaviors, some of the choices that I've made have been influenced with those experiences, those childhood experiences, especially, and learning to face them on and realize that some of these coping and response techniques that I have not been healthy, and finding healthier, more wholesome ways to navigate with.
Got you. I just think I don't know. For those of you watching, we are 20 minutes to the end of the show, but we're talking to Jason Trotman-Williams about his artwork, his influences, and coping and tools that he has now. Um, Again, I find it really cool sometimes because I get to meet some of my guests along with y'all. There is no preset questions. I don't send them a questionnaire. It's all on the spot, and I'm really excited that I'm the first interview that Jason does. So it's really cool. I have an exclusive. People, I found him first. um,
Yeah,
Not to mention the fact that it's not just about you being here's my art. It's there's so much meaning and feeling behind it. And as the gentleman said, or the person said, Shyam, um, he hopes that more people see you. Yes, I hope that more people see him. If you have not, I will post the link again at the end so you guys can check him out. During the show, there is a part of the show where I ask my guests if they have any words of wisdom for the audience. So, uh, Jason, do you have any words of wisdom to share with the audience?
oh, that is, I think one that's most recently that I've been coming to terms with is understanding and um, how to say it, dealing with the relationships that you have in your life, realizing which ones are not healthy, which ones are affecting you, and learning to both walk away from them and not only walking away, but being mindful and kind to the other individual. Because most times the other person um, going through their own stuff and that's the best way that they think is to cope with the situation or to deal with life. And learning to say no to situations and people who are draining and negative and walking away from that, I've learned, I've impacted tremendously both on how I see myself, how I approach life, and as well as the relationships that I have with other people. So finding the value in relationships that you have and figuring out what they bring to the table and removing the ones that are negative and draining in your life.
That's awesome. Which leads me to one of my final questions because you just brought this up about being kind. Um, how are you kind to yourself?
Well, this is also something that I have most recently heavily been invested in because I see how overextending myself and not putting priority in myself and how that has affected both my health and mental state and self-esteem. But I am learning to be kind to myself by doing more art, exploring my feelings, and learning to deal with emotions and situations and not just push it under the rug and hopefully it will go away, because at the end I keep finding myself both beating up myself and going over and over in my mind. So yeah, that's all I think I'm being kind to myself at this moment. It took a
Nice.
long time to reach that spot, but I have found the need and the importance of it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think for a lot of us, it takes some time, and then for me personally, as I get older, there's new levels. I mean, because there's new lessons learned, there's new
Yeah,
things that I know, there's new experiences that the way that I'm kind to myself or the way that I treat myself changes, and I have to learn how to adjust to that.
yeah,
Especially like some health issues that happen in my life. So for anybody watching out there, and you're like, I already know how to be kind to myself. Yeah, but keep checking in with yourself. Check in with yourself
yeah,
because it
yeah.
changes. Um, so some people have already been looking at your Instagram. I saw that. But where can people find you? Where can they buy your pieces? How can they get in touch with you?
Um, Instagram and Facebook. I have a business page at Christian Handmade Designs, both on Instagram and Facebook. They can send me a message, email as well. But right now, working on getting website up, and as soon as that is up, it I will like launch that officially. But Instagram and Facebook is fine. Yeah, just send me a message, connect, and we can always go from there again.
Yeah, because right now I'm debating whether I want to do a painting or I'm really liking one of the pillows. So I might be like contacting you to get one of those pillows. They're just so cool, especially because I'm getting a new couch. So for everybody, I know for everybody who's following me, I know you guys have heard me talk about a new couch since Christmas. I was gonna get a couch for my birthday, and I didn't get it. I'm a little cheap. I didn't want to spend the money, but I've been working really hard, and I have enough money for my couch. And I figure maybe it needs a Trotman-Williams pillow on my couch, and that's going to be my new birthday. I'm really excited to go shopping on your page. So I'm going to go shop and find something. Um, what suggestions or I don't like giving advice, but what suggestion do you have for somebody out there who's a young artist who is afraid to just do it? What would you tell them?
I am probably in a similar situation because I don't even think I have an answer for that question. But I think what has helped along the way is both still in that voice that says that you're not good enough and that your artwork is not good enough. But I think keep practicing, keep showing your work, find support both in friends, family. I think there's lots of art pages on Facebook, Instagram where you can connect with similar artists internationally. And just share work, connect with people, and be authentic both in how you portray your work and be clear in what you're trying to say. Because I think a lot of artists now get lost in what they think people might like and what they think might be pretty on the wall, and they lose what they find important to serve or what they're trying to say. And I think that's the most important part in being a visual artist, knowing exactly what you want to say and practicing and showing and exposing yourself. Yeah.
I think I totally agree because there was a time I've had this show for all of the new people watching the show for the first time. I've had my podcast for 9 years. Just this year, 2020, we went live stream and did live shows. But there was a time there. When I first started, I started doing it because I wanted to meet people. I wanted to ask questions and learn.
Yeah.
And then there was a time there when I was so preoccupied with what everybody else was doing, what was trending, what were my numbers, and I got so caught up in that my shows were not that good because they weren't mine; they were somebody else's show. And then post cancer, I decided to just go back and do shows that I wanted to do and talk to people that I wanted to talk to, and I'm having so much more fun this way. And I've stopped worrying about who's watching and what the numbers are. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does. It does. I think when you try to base your work on what other people would like or what is trending, it soon becomes a one monotonous. When you go on art scenes, it's just everybody doing the same thing, and it becomes boring, and you realize that it's not authentic work, and it's a lot of people pleasing, which I don't think at the end of the day is what makes an art something that people want to resonate with.
Is there ever going to be something where you combine everything you do into one?
What, like
painting, crocheting, jewelry, like all in one piece?
That is an idea, actually. I haven't thought of that. No. I think for now, I'm just exploring all the ways that I feel I can express myself in art. And if there comes a period or point where I feel that combining all three of them might work out for the benefit, I'll probably do it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to expect it to be called the Daniel piece or the Garza piece. You don't have to. But if it makes sense to you, and you're like, you know what, this reminds me of Daniel G. Garza.
He gave me the idea. Yeah.
It's going to be something with the taco in there because that's my favorite food. So just giving you ideas, just throwing it out there. You don't have to do it. So the last question before we go, and this might be an unusual question, but seeming that you work with a lot of colors and a lot of modes, but speaking of colors, speaking of your feelings and your emotions and where it comes from, do you identify with one particular color?
No. I think it's a mix of everything, but mostly I gravitate to blues and greens because I think that's my favorite color, but also because I feel the peace and the state of mind that those colors bring. But most of my paintings tend to be in reds and yellows and those bright colors because I think they're both expressive in what I'm trying to portray, but they're also lively, attractive colors, and they have more to say than a blue will have. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much. Again, for everybody watching, my guest today has been Jason Trotman-Williams. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for accepting my invitation and allowing me to be your first interview. That's really special. Yes, I'm going to take credit for that. I'm going to brag about that forever because when I see you on some big interview, I'm going to be like, he was on my show first, whatever, like whatever people, like whatever. Anything else before we go?
No. Thank you for having me. It was actually a push because I don't think I would have ever in a million years do an interview, and it took me out of my comfort zone, and I said I'll just jump and do it, and I'm happy that I did.
Well, I'm so glad you did it, and I'm going to tell the folks out there that I was when we first booked him for the show, I was using Zoom for my interviews, and then I changed it, and I sent them the thing and link, and then I copied and pasted. I have the standard letter that I sent everybody, but I forgot to change the time. So I put 12 o'clock on his, and he's like, wait a minute. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't change your time. And then I realized what I did. And so it's been, he was so patient with my emails. But for all of you who have been following me around, know that I was on this big assignment, and it was 13 days of work, and I was so exhausted. But I'm so glad that you came on the show. I've learned a lot from you, and I'm very happy that you accepted my invitation. So I'm so pleased. Thank you. All right. So don't go away. Let me say goodbye to everybody, and I'll be right back for you. For everybody watching, this has been Put It Together Conversations. My guest today was Jason Trotman-Williams. Go check out his artwork. Again, remember, if you are on Facebook, it's going to be in the description. If you're on YouTube, just scroll down and you'll find all his links and information down there. But let me remind you, if you're on Facebook, would you mind sharing this on your page and letting your friends catch up and watch the videos? You can go to the Put It Together Conversations Facebook page and catch up on all the shows that we have on the series. If you're watching us on YouTube, do me a favor, will you scroll down and just smash that subscribe button and follow us? And that, if you can want to click the little bell, it'll notify you every time there's a new show on the air. Like the video and maybe leave a comment, and I'll make sure that I get them over to Jason. If you watch us on Twitter, will you mind retweeting this for us and letting your friends catch up and watch the show? And remember, we are here every Saturday at noon and 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for new episodes. If you'd like to be part of the Put It Together Podcast Conversations family, send me a message on any of the venues and I will get back to you with some information. Make sure you leave your email and I will send you the info on how to be scheduled on the show. I want to remind you that Little Mexican Productions has 3 shows on the air. You can catch us every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with the Christian and Daniel Show. On Fridays, the Card Devo at 6. And on Saturdays, Put It Together Conversations at noon and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Jason for being on the show. Make sure you go check out his stuff and buy something and send us pictures when you do. We want to see who got some of his stuff. For now, I remind you, Put It Together Conversations is a show about folks, where you come from, where you are now, and what your journey is like. And the idea is to motivate and inspire other folks to go after their dreams and goals. And I hope this show has inspired you to go after yours. For now, I want to thank you. This is Daniel G. Garza. Let me make sure I get my video together. This is Daniel G. Garza saying, hey, put it together.